Hello everybody, welcome back to the Herefordshire Gardener channel. My name's Aaron. I'm in the rose room today. It's June 2025. There's quite a few roses out, so I thought I might as well do a short tour through the room and show you guys what's going on. I hope you enjoy the video. Remember, give it a thumbs up to support the channel, help it go out on YouTube. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy. So we're just stood outside the rose room now. You can see the oxeye daisies, which are out in the beds just in front of this entrance. I'm going to take you straight on through and we'll see what's going on in the room. You can see the rose cage in the middle. Hope that eventually that'll be covered by the roses which are grown around it. I'll talk you through those again in a second. Hopefully you'll appreciate it's changed quite a bit since we were last in here. Quite a few roses out and lots of the companion planting. If you've seen my video on companion planting, I'm aiming to have something out, something coming in and something over at all times. By over I mean sort of seed heads, but you can see there's just so much interest at the moment. It's been so nice sitting here in the morning having a coffee or on an evening. I must try and film in an evening because I think the dynamics, the atmosphere of the room just really changes. So what I'll do is we'll go down, we'll explore each quarter and the centre. The rose cage is looking lovely. Got my first Wollerton Old bud today, which is quite exciting. Why don't I just go and quickly show you that, seeing as they were on that topic right now. So there she is, covered in buds. I have heard that apparently this one is quite slow. It's a climbing rose, quite slow to start off, but beautiful. Look at this. Oh, I think that looks delightful. I'm just gonna have a little smell. Lovely fragrance, quite sweet notes, beautiful. I really like the look of that. I'm excited that eventually is going to be growing up over this particular side of the rose cage, and the other Wollerton Old Hall is at the other side. And then of course we've got the two strawberry hills, which are also in flower, as you can see just around there. I need to work out a support structure for these because obviously they're young at the moment and they need to put on some height before I can train them. I think it's going to be at least another 2-3 years before I get them up onto the top of this rose cage, but we'll get there. I think for 1 year that's not bad. That whole shrub there is just one Wollerton Old Hall. There's probably about 20 odd buds on it in its first flush, so can't complain. Just look at the colours in this bed. I love it. That's the, if you're interested, the yellow sort of tall spires is yellow pale yellow-eyed grass, or yellow pale-eyed grass. It's known as Siberian. Lovely companion plant, very strong, supports itself, and it's the softest of yellows, so it just goes with anything and gives you that sort of country cottage feel. So let's have a look, we'll see what's out. Got the dianthus, which I put in last year and they came back this year. These are beautiful. I love going to the garden centre and smelling these because they're obviously got them on mass in pots there, but really pretty. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have them at the front of the border, just dotted periodically, as you can see, just so that you get that uplight of colour, rather than everything all just being sort of one height. The Landseas are coming in now. These are the ones, guys, that I knocked back. I cut them back so that they weren't too tall, and they've divided, and as you can see, we're getting branching on them. These little baby spikes that are coming out. That's worked really well this year. We've got some toad flax there, which is a pink variety, I think. The common one is purple, but that's a nice one. All these were out of the garden. Got the foxgloves, which is starting to go to seed. So what I will do eventually, once that's spent a little bit more of its blooms, is I will chop that off and we should get some more blooms out of that. I think a few people have commented on the video just saying you can do it with foxgloves as well, so try and keep everything going for as long as possible. This is my mill on the floss. Don't do what I did this year with my roses. I don't know about everybody else, but I've been seeing a lot of green fly this year. Heck of a lot. It was black spot last year with all the rain, and then we had a beautiful spring and early summer, and there's just been green fly on everything. A lot of ladybirds as well, but they don't seem to be catching up with them on some of the plants. So I tried an organic spray to control green fly. It was one from Rose Clear. I was a bit dubious to start off with. I thought, I'm not really keen on spraying anything, but I thought I'll give it a go because there was that many. It was just too much to manually remove them. And it caused some of my rose leaves and some of my other companion plant leaves to go like a burnt black, and I put it on in an overcast day. I think maybe because of the dry weather and the fact that we have had quite some sunny days, maybe it's not washed off. And anyway, some of the leaves caught, so I had to defoliate a few of the, not completely, but some of the worst affected leaves, because I really didn't like the sight of it. Yeah, rose clear, it should be called steer clear, because I won't be going near it again. It doesn't matter about the green flies in future. I think I've learnt my lesson and I won't be using it moving forward. I thought organic, you know, it's not going to affect pets, it's not going to affect the beneficial insects, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it myself. So this is Mill on the Floss. She has got a load of blooms, you can see, absolutely covered. I mean, she's pushing 7 foot. But yeah, covered. Gorgeous blooms. They're normally a little bit bigger than this, but I think because of all the dry weather, a lot of the blooms on the plants this part of the year have been quite small. So I've got her trained through the hoops, as you can see, and I've just made another temporary frame just because she's too tall, and I didn't have time to make more willow rings. So on some of the climbers in the room, you can see down there with my Bathshebas and Claire Austins, you can just about work it out in that Bathsheba. I've just put extra support. I think I've done a video on that, so you're probably already familiar. One thing that I'm really happy about that's come out this year is my rose campions, or bloody Williams. This is the one thing that I look forward to, apart from the roses this time of the year. It's just this sea of magenta pink and light pink. They're just starting to come out. They're a bit more further out, for example, on this side by Lady of Shallot. I mean, just look at them. Again, I've got 2 colours here, a lighter one and a darker one. It's almost too bright for the camera, I think. I love these. I think somebody commented on the previous companion planting about finding it difficult to get seeds for these. I would encourage you all to plant these in your borders. They're just such a good companion plant. You literally just deadhead them when they're finished, when the bloom goes like this, sort of dried, and just throw it back in the border, and that'll keep flowering right up till December. It's a constant colour, and for the flushes of roses, I think it's just perfect. Let's take you through this room then. So we've got the rose campion, we've got the foxgloves, which we've already said. This is the pale-eyed yellow grass. It's got lovely strong stems, softish yellow, beautiful. You can see though that's starting to go to seed. Can you see some of the flowers down the bottom? Gone a bit brown. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to probably wait until most of the flowers fade. And then, look at that for a shot, that looks incredible. Gosh, you can't even see the central aisle there, it just looks like a field of perennials. That is beautiful. Yeah, I'll knock these Cicericiums back just as they're going over, and hopefully we'll get more coming out, which would be great. We've got the Circeus atropurpurea there, or the purple thistle, looking sensational. See if I can get that to focus in. The bees do enjoy those, as I said in the previous video. The alliums, atropurpurea there, coming out as well. They're really fragrant, beautiful. I've still got the cornflowers. That's the perennial ones, because I keep deadheading those. So they're still in and they keep coming back. We've got the Iris Siberica, which are going over now. I think there's occasional few late blooms left. But if you remember in my old video, I told you about the seed heads. So they start off this lovely light green colour, quite a neat shape, triangular almost. And they'll go real dark brown and they'll just stay there all season. And I like them. Can't really see them much against that now, but when they turn brown, a bit like the allium seed heads, it's just another point of interest. This is my Emily Bronte, and she's gone nuts. I mean, to think when I first put her in, she was tiny, and now she's easily pushing sort of 5.5 foot. Again, she was another one that got affected by the spray that I used, so I did have to defoliate. It's not an issue because when she starts her second flush, when I knock these back once the blooms are finished, you know, she'll throw out a load more foliage, so it's not the end of the world. But these things happen, you live and learn. She's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Has that classic button eye in the middle and a fragrance. Oh, it's wonderful. So nice, sweet. Bit of old rose in there, a bit of citrus. She's normally a little bit more pink than this as well. But I think because we've had quite a lot of sun, you can see they just bleach out a little bit, turn almost a creamy white colour. And I have deadheaded her quite a bit. So I'd say she's probably got about 70% of her original first flush. She's not done too bad, all things considered. I think with this rose as well, because I put it in May 2023. This is technically the second year, full year. So, you know, I think next year my aim is to have a real big shrub on all of these. I want them to be, I'm going to prune them so that they don't go too small. I want a big shrub on each one, but we will see. We've still got some of the Dutch iris out, and that's Autumn Princess right there. She's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I love the colours in this one. Really, really pretty and big, very big. The lupins, you won't see very many of them in this video because I've knocked them all back. They were all going to seed, but this one, for example, was knocked back a bit earlier, and these are all new spikes, similar to the original ones, just smaller, and which is handy really because it means they don't get blown over. More of those foxgloves. And then we come on to Gabrielle Oak. I'm going to be doing proper reviews, videos of these roses this week. Got a bit of time off of work, so I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity, weather permitting, to go through them. It's just a beautiful rose. Such a punchy colour. And if you've watched my previous videos, this was one that I moved from another part of the garden. I originally purchased it, popped it in the ground in another part of the garden, and I changed my mind a few weeks later, and it did suffer quite a bit in the first year because I think I moved it around about this time, so in mid-June, and it was scorching. But it's really recovered, and it's, as you can see, don't need me to tell you, it's gone absolutely nuts. Covered. We're not even anywhere near fully open on the blooms. You just look at this one. I've got quite a lot of blooms just on this one spike. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 just there, and there's quite a few of these clusters throughout, and more new growth coming on this. So this has got quite a lot of blooms to come out on the first flush. I'll try and do a rose review on Gabrielle Oak properly this week. Just bringing you around. We've got Desdemona there. I love these Brunera. If you remember from my spring rose room tour, the blue flowers have now faded, they've gone over, but the leaves get a lot bigger at this stage and they almost look like a hosta. They are quite large, really, really beautiful. And this is Brunera Jack Frost if you're interested. Really nice pattern, heart-shaped leaves. Got them here. Some of them come out green to start off with, and then you get that frosting that develops until eventually they look like this. But I think next to the roses, I just had a little bit of interest. Rather than seeing bare earth, again, it's just about having interest at all different levels, all through the bed. What else can I show you in here? We've got something that's gone over, which is Aquilegias. And I love the seed heads on these. They look like jesters or jester hats. Really nice, and they'll add a bit of sound as well. When those seeds dry, you'll get sort of the rattling sound that they typically produce. And I'm hoping that they'll just self-seed as well on the floor, so we'll get them popping up like we have at the back there. And there's still a flower on that one. So yeah, those right next door is more of the Irish Siberica seed heads with a few left. And of course we've got the rose campion coming in here, and that's got loads to open up. Very similar actually, it's even more vibrant than Gabrielle Oak. You see that? I mean, the colour of those, even on the video, is intense. It's more intense actually in real life, but hopefully the video is portraying that colour through. We've got the hardy geranium, Alaska Rivers, gorgeous. And then we've got another type there, which I think is Patricia. The Clematis are working their way up as well. We've got quite a few of them that are coming out now. We've got the new benches, which I said I will get in. One on either side of this walkway, so one on there and one over there. I'll show you the different sort of vistas that you get in the room now. I love these alliums. I think these are so worth the money spent. Beautiful architecture, gorgeous colour. The colour's almost sort of a silky purple. Beautiful, really nice. And these ones, oh, the most amazing fragrance. Honestly, they're so sweet, beautiful fragrance. Not what you would expect at all. I'd have more of those actually. I like them because they're later flowering. And that is literally how they flower. They sort of don't open into a ball. They're more of this sort of shape. And on really fat stems as well, really tall. You can see that for size. Beautiful. Still more opening on that. You can see, look, fresh ones coming in. Some that are open, and then the ones with the seeds are the ones that are already been fertilized and are going to produce seed. So I'm going to let those self-seed in the hope that we get even more of them in years to come. Look at the Siberian there, how it just sort of blends in with the pink of the rose campion. Then of course you've got the lupins. This is the second flush. I'll probably get a third flush out of these because I'll knock these back. The original ones were a lot taller, but I like them when they're this sort of size. They're just so much easier to manage. We've still got some chives that are out. These are really pretty. Got these dotted throughout the whole room. I'm not knocking those ones back though, I'm going to leave those. You can see Gentle Hermione. I've done a rose review on this one. If you're interested, you can go check the video out. We've got that massive cane that came up last year and it looks amazing from the other side, so I'm gonna show you that in a moment. This is another one of those alliums, like the purple one, but this is white and it smells just as good. Oh, honestly, that smells just delicious. As does Gentle Hermione. Do you know what? I'm gonna have a little smell of this one. Look at all the pollen beetles down in there. Like a pollen beetle party. So this is what tends to fertilise these roses, although I do see the bees going in there. They're so fascinating. I see these as early as when the magnolias come out. They don't cause any harm to the plants. They just literally eat the pollen and fertilise the flowers. But that is absolutely gorgeous. And we've got the allium purple sensations now going to seed. Can you see this? So this is what they look like when their purple flowers fade. You get these green globules that then turn black. And so it's just a lovely, this is what I was meaning in my previous video about something going over. Because that looks like a firework to me. I think it's beautiful at all stages. So, you know, I don't mind that remaining in the border while things like the rose campion next to it are coming out. And the cornflowers are continuing to produce more flowers because I keep deadheading those. When you start looking at the layers here with the yellows, the whites, the pinks and the greens of that seed head, I just think it looks gorgeous. And just singing next to the roses. So nice. We've got Queen of Sweden here. Again with another one of those alliums that's gone right up through the top ring. And a white one out to the side. This is another nice rose. It's coming towards the end of its first flush, I'd say. There's probably maybe 20 odd more blooms to open. I'm going to try and get another review in on this. I'd done one in a previous year, so this one's already technically been done. So I didn't bother with it this year. But this is what the lupins look like when they start coming up for their second flush. So when you knock them back, you get new heads that form. Just like this initially, and then up they come. The bees are going nuts for those foxgloves. Aren't they beautiful? See if we can get them going in the one just above. Come on. See if we can see. I'll try and get him going in one. Tiny little hairs on the front of the flower. I think it just helps them to gain a purchase into the flower. Otherwise you can imagine it'd be quite slippery. That's another nice little shot there, look. Queen of Sweden with a foxglove. Isn't that beautiful? Let's take you on through here. I'm really enjoying the colour in these borders. And then you get the punches of the roses periodically, which is exactly what I was going for. That's another one of those Patricia geraniums. And of course we've got another variety here, which again the pollen beetles love. You can see them just sort of being a bit shy. And then the lambs here. This feels so nice. And these are those little purple flowers I tried to explain in the last video, pinky purple. You actually got a little bit more detail if you get closer up. Quite pretty, very small though, but almost fairground style, you know, in a cylinder around the main stem and then obviously all the way up to the top. And you get them in runs again, 2 or 3 before you get to the main stem. And you get new ones coming out of the side, so hopefully I'll keep these going if I knock them back once they finish flowering. I knocked this foxglove back and you can already see we've got new secondary flower spikes coming out, and they'll develop all the way down, I can see in there. So that'll give me more colour and more interest over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Look at that shot. Beautiful. So yeah, as I said earlier, this particular rose campion, if you look, I think this is 2 different varieties. So we've got a more magenta pink and then a brighter pink, and I think that we've got some white ones somewhere in the garden. I didn't know that I was putting different varieties there. They only started off as tiny little shrubs last year, but they've beefed out this year and they've done really, really well. Hopefully they'll continue to spread and do amazing. Look at that foxglove. It's just all those seeds all the way up, and we still got quite a bit to come out at the top, so I'm probably waiting until we get right to the top and then I'll knock this back and get some more flower spikes before these go to seed. All like little pears in dishes. Beautiful. And then we got this clematis. Forgive me because I can't remember the name of it, but I've paired it with this Lady of Shallot rose, and actually the foliage colour of that, it's a nice coppery colour, which is working really well with these blooms. I need to do a rose review on Lady of Shallot. She's throwing out some slightly smaller blooms with all of the temperature that we've had. I'd say she's probably coming towards the end of her first flush, but there's still plenty more blooms left to open. I think she looks lovely. For 2 years, not bad at all. Already gone to the top of the structure. Again, another one that I had to defoliate a little bit because of the stupid error I made with the spray, but it's not the end of the world, as I keep saying. Look at this combination. Got the purple Lupin in the back, coppery orange buttery tones of Lady of Shallot with the red buds, and then the magenta pink of the rose campion and the silver foliage of that. I just think that looks gorgeous. It's all about the companion planting for me. It's nice to have the roses, don't get me wrong. That's the focus for me, is the roses, but I think the companion planting just gives me an experience every time I come in this room. There's something different to see. For example, if you look here, we've got the Achillea coming out, or the yarrow. Doesn't look like much now, but eventually that'll open into big umbels, a bit like a cauliflower or broccoli floret. And this is a lovely soft pastel shade, so that'll fill in this area, and of course it's all down here, so it's going to fill that area quite nicely. And you see, when the cornflowers, when they get like this and they look a bit dried up, I literally just knock them off, drop them down in the bottom. That'll just keep them flowering, stop them going to seed. The plant will think it needs to produce more flowers. And this is another beautiful rose at the end. I'm just noticing that a lot of these rose campions seem to be magenta pink and then light pink. I don't know if that was done by mistake, but it always seems to be on that side and then the lighter one on that side. Just an observation. Charles Darwin, looking lovely. Put on some new fresh foliage since I defoliated this as well. So this is what the others will look like in, say, 4 weeks or so. But looking beautiful. This is only just starting to open, is this rose. It's a bit of a later bloomer. Just look at that though. Gorgeous. I'll probably do a review video on that one this week as well. So what we'll do is we'll come up to that section in a minute, and then we will do all of that. I just want to take you on to the other side first. Shall we go this way instead? Let's just spice the video up a bit. We've got Princess Anne there, heavily defoliated because she was one that with the spray her foliage literally just went black. I could have cried, honestly. You wait so long for these to come on, and it was something that I did which was even worse. I'm there trying to protect the roses from the aphids, and I caused more bloody damage with some of them. It's one of those moments where you just think, I wish I could go back in time and just stop myself. But you can't do that, and luckily for us, these roses, they don't bloom just once. They'll throw up a whole load of foliage in the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks, and she'll be covered top to bottom in blooms again. It didn't affect the blooms, as you can see. There's quite a lot of blooms, and I have deadheaded her quite a bit. The rose campion's just starting to come out here. If you look, there's loads of it. See all those heads just ready to pop open. So that'll fill in a lot of that area too. Oh, I've just spotted one of those Achillea or yarrows that I just told you about in the pastel shades. It's just starting to open. What you see? Just there. And that's one of the pastel mix ones. Be a lot bigger than that. It'd be like cow parsley when it's open, but lovely, lovely shades. Just spotted a few more of those cornflowers. When you've got a single bloom like this on a long stem, I tend not to just pull the top off, because then it'll flower here, here and here, which will make it taller. So I will go back. I might need my secateurs for this, but I'll just pinch it lower down like that, so that it encourages it to send up shoots from down here instead, which will mean the eventual height will be around about here. It just stops your shrubs from flopping over. So yeah, just a little tip: when you are deadheading, go further down the plant. And these again, I can just put them underneath that rose. They'll just act as fertilizer. Just spotted another one here. So this is Fox and Cubs, if you're interested. It grows like a weed for many people in your lawn, but I saved the seeds last year and I planted them around the front of the borders just for a hit of orange in summer. So it flowers late May, early June, and it'll keep on going as long as I deadhead it. Again, another favourite for the pollen beetles. Got a lot to open on this, but it's a lovely warm orange with yellow stamens in the middle. I love the dark sort of licorice tone, graphite tone to the unopened flower buds and their hairy stems. And the leaves are sort of strap-like down the bottom. Yeah, it's not too in your face for these borders, but it's just a little pop of orange, which I quite enjoy. So you'll see that periodically in these borders. If you just look there, it's not screaming too much, but it's just letting you know that it's there, which is great. I'll just bring you down here. We'll have a look and see what's in these borders. We've got another thing coming out here. This is the Nepeta or catmint, which smells divine. Always reminds me of lavender. It's got a similar colour. And this is the Six Hills giant one, so we'll get a lot bigger than this. But I keep knocking it back again just to encourage it to bush out. I'd rather have bushier than too tall and floppy. Another one of those Fox and Cubs on this side, look. Don't they look so weird, don't you think? It almost looks like a desert cactus. I just love that. I think that looks amazing. So interesting, and it goes all the way under there, you see. Probably just pull that one out so you can see it. What else is here? I noticed we've got some of the scabiosa or pincushion plants. I put these in as annuals last year. If this is the one that I'm thinking, or this could have been one of the perennial ones, but it's getting ready to flower. I think it's the perennial plum pudding, I think it's called, or plum something. Gorgeous colour. It's nice to see them coming back. They've just self-seeded. Quite nice foliage as well, slightly strappy. And it goes all the way up there, and it's just weaving in through this rose campion, so that'll be a nice addition. Another one of those autumn princess Dutch iris. By the way, I should have done a video when all these Dutch iris were out, because they were sensational. They are featured in some of the videos that I've done, but I don't think I've done them justice. If you're after a plant that's going to come back year after year and just is like a jewel in the garden, comes in sort of May time, I would definitely advise Dutch iris. There's loads of varieties out there to choose from, and they all flower at different times as well, so you get staggered arrangement. They're just beautiful. What can I show you around here? See, this is the Dutch iris when they go over. The flowers sort of fade to this, but again, the seed head will develop underneath. You could leave this on if you want, but I just tied it up, take the flower off, drop it in the bed. Look at these two dancing together. Siberian and foxglove. I've got another hardy geranium there and a lovely soft pink foxglove. Another one of that fox and cubs. Look how hairy that stem is. I love the smaller details. I really do love stopping and appreciating those finer bits. You can see Achillea in the background there. I've just spotted another plant that's going to need deadheading soon. Jacob's ladder or pulmonium, which is another nice one. These lovely sort of purple bell flowers that nod down and stand up. If you knock that one back, it'll flower again. This is my Clematis nubia. I've shown you this in a previous video. It's just about to go over. There is a lot more new blooms coming out. It's a shrub clematis. It doesn't get very tall, but it just fills this spot here beautifully. I love it. It's a Raymond Everson clematis if you're interested. It's like a carpet of red, reddy sort of magenta again, purple, burgundy. It's just beautiful. Really, really nice. Got rose campion coming in just there, but we've obviously had one that's already bloomed, so I'll just knock that off. And this is the foliage to the yarrow or the Achillea. You can see we've got a flower spike that's going to come up there. It's like fern foliage. It's really, really pretty, nice and light, so it doesn't occlude airflow, etc. So it's a nice one to have in the borders. Just look at that. Just look through there. You've got alliums, cornflowers, Jacob's ladder, pulmonium, lupins in the background. You've got these Siberian dotted through. You've got the lovely contrast of the lambs here. Still got the chive heads there. The strappy foliage of the Siberian. The iris seed heads just there. Oh, just honestly, it's singing to me. I do love it. Achillea. This rose smells divine. So strong. Smells like sherbet to me, lemon sherbet, but delicious. I need to do a review of that rose as well. Got quite a lot of reviews left to do. But as I said, I've got a week off, and hopefully if the weather's on my side, I'll be able to do them. So I'm just using this as an opportunity to do a little bit of deadheading. There we go, look, got another one of those yarrows. These are dotted throughout the whole room, so again, maybe in another 2 weeks these will all be out. So it'll be something different to see. God, I can smell this this allium purpurea. I wish you guys could smell that. It's so nice. It's just sweet. It smells so delicious. Good enough to eat. I've got the second flush of lupins coming in on this one. It always excites me to see more flowers coming. It does seem brutal when you cut the stems back and you think, oh my god, if I just like ruined the plant, but you know, they throw up more because the plant's goal is to flower, set seed and then repeat next year, but we can trick them into flowering for longer. See this Siberian here starting to go to seed. See those green things? They'll eventually turn black. And that's just the old dried flower on the edge. Look, you see them, they just drop off. So what I'll do is once it's finished its yellow flowers, I'll cut that back as well. And hopefully that will reflower again. I love this. This is the Cirsium atripurpurea or purple thistle. An absolute nectar palace and a magnet for pollinating insects. When they first develop the buds, look how funny they look. That's before it opens. Everything's tightly packed in there, look, just waiting like a sunflower head. Doesn't that look cool? Detail on that is gorgeous. And then up they pop, and you just get these beautiful burgundy purple frills at the top. Again, you can see pollen beetles in there. That doesn't surprise me. Gorgeous. Have a little closer look at these Siberian iris, what's left of them. You might as well as appreciate them. Look at that. Look on there. That's where the stamens are up the top. When the bee goes in, the nectar is down in the throat. His back rubs against those stamens, and then obviously it goes and pollinates another one of these. I love the colour. That just looks so almost safari-like. That's beautiful. I'll try and move this on just a little bit, because we could be out here all day. I could certainly spend all day out here, and I often do. This is a belter of a rose. I'm going to do a review on her this week. This is Princess Alexandra of Kent. Now, if you want giant fragrant blooms, look no further. Look at the coloration of that one. I'm just going to have a little smell of this. Oh, that's wonderful. And she's doing really well this year. She was quite small in the first year that I had her, but as you can see, she's filling out quite nicely, and that's with a bit of defoliation from that spraying incident. But she's got a load of blooms on there in her first flush. She's doing wonderful. Absolutely perfect. Got another one of these rose campions on the corner, as I have there. And when that comes out, it'll just be a splash of that magenta pink that you can see. Look at this bee. Let's see if we can get a close up. Hello. Beautiful. You see their big long tongues? That's what they stick down to get the nectar. You don't often see the bees with their tongues out, but when they're feeding, you can. He's having a good time there, or she. Beautiful. This is what I love to come out and watch. Just spend hours admiring them and watching them work. That's James L. Austin on that post at the other side. We'll come round to that in a second. This Clematis is going quite well up the posts now. When I first put these in a couple of years ago, I thought, my God, are they actually going to do anything? In the first year, they barely did out. Second year, we had a really wet year. And I don't think they flowered very much, but this year they seem to have really taken off. So I think I'm on to a winner. The idea eventually will be all of these posts, they've all got Clematis on, so hopefully they'll get covered. That's another one of those pulmoniums. It's a self-seeder, so lovely sort of purpley blue. And as I said, it's called Jacob's Ladder because foliage is like a ladder, kind of leading up, like a set of stairs, I guess. Look at that James L. Austin just poking out at the back. These are pretty. And these benches are great now because it means that we can just take a seat and just sit back and just enjoy watching nature. Listening to the birds. Got still quite a lot of the Iris Siberica on this side of the room, out in flower. You can see the allium head there just down low. It's turned to seed. We've got the lupins here. Got another one of those Dutch iris just there. That one's called Eye of the Tiger. And then we've got the lambs here coming through. More of those geraniums and the roses. You just get glimpses from different parts of the room of the different things that are here. I really do like those purple thistles though, because they stand quite tall. And also we're very lucky here, we've got the trees in the garden. So you've got the willow pear trees, tulip tree there, that's a liquid amber tree, that's an Atlas cedar, That one there is a ginkgo tree, and we've got a cherry there. So all those lovely shapes and colours contrast nice, and with the beech hedging, it just sets everything off in my opinion. And obviously we've got the weeping willow, which is a giant over there, and there is just one up to the right of us there as well. Perry pear tree, got a pin oak there. You just feel completely surrounded by nature in this garden, particularly in this room as well. I left these borders with an access panel at the back, just a strip of grass between the hedge and where I put the beds in, just so that number one, I could maintain them, but number two, it also just gives another point to walk down. So, you know, it's wide enough to walk down the back of here. And when the hedge is trimmed after the birds have finished nesting, it's much wider than that. You get at least another 1.5 feet. But it just allows you to appreciate the beds again and the room from a different angle, because you just get a different vista everywhere that you are. This is Dr. Ruppel Clematis. I know this one. Look at those little dinky blooms. They're normally a lot bigger, as I said. It's just the dry weather that we've had. Blooms tend to be smaller. This one here is Septidile. This is a gorgeously scented rose. Beautiful. I'm going to wait for that one to flush a bit more with flowers and then do a review on that. Look at this. Autumn Princess Dutch Iris. That looks like a flower for an emperor. The colours are just mind-boggling. It's beautiful. There's another one just down there, as you can see. And you can see more of the Septidile, James L. Austin, Princess Alexandra of Kent, Anastasia Vi on that side. These willow hoops, I've mentioned them before, they are just helping to contain things. Got James L. Austin, not James L. Austin, this is Silas Marner. Bit of an unusual one for me. It's never really, apart from the first year that I put this rose in, it's not really done tremendously well. Although I have noticed this year we've got a lot of basil canes coming out the bottom. It just seems to have gone really tall with the stuff that we've had, even though I pruned it back. And I've had to defoliate this one quite a bit as well, so it's looking a bit gangly at the minute, but I've got a little bit of faith. I'm sure in due course it will fill out and bush out. The flowers are quite pretty. Again, they're normally bigger than this. So I look forward to seeing that. The lupins are purple, light purple. These ones have got like a stripy pattern in the base. Looks bloody awesome. And if you remember from my previous videos, I knocked all of these lupins back twice in spring. Just completely removed the foliage down to the bottom. This is before they were developing these buds. And honestly, hand on my heart, it's worked amazing this year. They're not too big in the beds. The blooms weren't too tall. They've been really, really healthy. They've not suffered from any powdery mildew. So I think it's worked. I think that's definitely been a success. So I'm going to do that every year now moving forward. More of those Siberian iris. I also knocked these yarrow back because they were getting a bit tall. They did have blooms on the end, but I'm pretty certain that they're going to send out new bloom heads from here, so we'll get to about this height, but we'll have more flowers, I think. So again, just another experiment. Here we've got Dame Judi Dench. That's this orange rose here, peachy orange. She's really, really pretty. Got a lovely fruity fragrance as well. Look at that. More of a rosette arrangement than a cup, but beautiful. And she's paired with a clematis, which is about to go into flower. Can't remember the name of that one. We've got some more of that Brunera down there, look. just fills up a quiet corner. Dutch iris there, just deadhead that, put the bloom down there. Would have been nice if the sun came out today, but it's dry, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to film. Look at the colour of these foxgloves. They're like a lilac. Beautiful soft coloration on those. These are self-seeders. They're wonderful. Really, really pretty. And we've got Tranquility at the end here, which again I had to defoliate this one a little bit. There's the President Clematis, which is wrapping around there nicely, and hopefully when those big purple flowers come out, I think Jack Marnie's in there as well. I put 2 in, so hopefully that'll complement those lovely white blooms. I think it's looking rather nice. This is coming on as well. This is the rose cage that I installed last year. Eventually the plan is to have climbing roses going all the way up the 4 sides. As I mentioned earlier, it's 2 Strawberry Hills and 2 Wollerton Old Halls, and there's Gentle Hermione, 6 of them in between. My own cuttings, that is. But you can see this Strawberry Hill is starting to really bud out, and it does have a nice fragrance, nice glossy foliage. These are Christophi alliums, and these ones are the Purple Sensation, but just look at those. I think that's fantastic. Nice strong stems, doesn't need any support. These ones flower a little bit later, but again just look incredible. Got another one of those Dutch iris I'm just gonna pop over. Look at these heads, got all the seeds on now. So pretty. This one is Gentle Hermione, it's nearly gone over as that. Still a few blooms on the first flush, but these are my own little babies that I took in June 2023. So they're going to take a bit of time to get established, but eventually that entire area, because there's 2 of them in between the climbers, will just be full of these lovely blooms, basically the same as that corner over there. I'll probably, if I get any long canes off of that, I'll knock them back because I don't want these ones to climb. The size of this Christophi, that is absolutely ginormous. Quite thick stems as well. I put some more of that rose campion in here. This is what it was like in the beds, because I only put this in, it was either in spring this year, I think it was just spring this year that I put this one in, but it's already given me a few spikes. Next year this will be like those ones over there, so it'll fill out this and give us that pop of magenta pink that we're after. That's another one of those Gentle Hermiones. Look at the size of that dinky little bloom, that's so cute. It's coming on nicely though, I'd say. That's a Wollerton Old Hall. Some of these alliums as well, I don't know why, but they're sort of flowered at different heights. So they look pretty cool, sort of bobbing up and down. I love these Purple Sensations. Beautiful. These can self-seed for me as much as they like. I'll never get fed up of seeing those. We've got a Gentle Hermione down here. Look at that, guys. Gorgeous cup. I mean, these are just babies, but they're still blooming their hearts out. I'll just take that off. These are my grape hyacinths, which have gone to seed. Look, you can see. So these are from the spring garden. Can you see the little black seeds in there? So, you know, if I just pop that out onto my hand, I should be able to get a few. Hang on a second, a bit easier said than done with just one hand. There we are. You see those little black seeds? So those eventually will grow new grape hyacinths. And I don't mind those, again, self-seeding, because they're really nice in the spring garden. Another one of the gentle Hermanes. Is this gentle Hermane? Yes, it is. This one's got a little bit bigger. Beautiful blooms. There's a few down there. There's one down here. The stems are not massively strong on these yet because they're only babies, as I said, but they'll put on size. And as you can see, that stem's holding itself up quite well. I may end up putting some support structures in here, just until we get some thick wood on there. Eventually they will support themselves. And this is the Strawberry Hill that's in flower. Another one of those Autumn Princess. Another one in the backdrop there. I put these in here. I put Eye of the Tiger in. I put some yellow and white ones in, which I think, I can't remember the name of those ones, but there's one called Purple Discovery as well that I put in here. They've all gone over since, but these are like the later flowering ones, and as is the Eye of the Tiger there, look. Really pretty. Let me just get past this allium and show you Strawberry Hill. Again, only a little dinky bloom. They get a lot bigger than this, but just beautiful. Look at this. And eventually these are going to climb up over this rose cage, and it's just going to be adorned in the most beautiful fragrant roses. That will be very exciting. More gentle Hermane. As I said, there's 2 of them in between each of these climbers, so that means there's 6 all in all. More of those fox and cubs. Handsome dandelions. These were just self-seeders. I'll collect the seed from them again this year and I'll distribute them around this room. I just think they're such a lovely colour. They're not too in your face. We've got down here, look, something coming in. So this, if you recognise the leaf, this is Alchemilla mollis, or Lady's Mantle. It's got these gorgeous big geranium style leaves which repel water, which you can see pretty well here. Can you see that water droplet there? Same as like on a lupin leaf. It just forms these droplets that don't seem to stick to the leaf because there's tiny hairs everywhere, but it's sending up its signature flowers, which are these gorgeous lime green flowers that come up like a spray. It just adds a little bit of a punch of zest to the beds. Christophi just packed full in the middle there, waiting to open all those blooms. Another one of my gentle Hermanes. This flower feels like it's probably going over. Yeah, it is. Probably going to fall is that soon. And then I noticed this one, as I said at the start of the video, and this is one of the Wollerton Old Hall. Seems to be doing a bit better than the one on the other side. Not sure why. That's Alchemilla mollis, look, starting to send up classic flower spikes. They're a lovely zesty, almost lime yellow lemon colour. The seed heads on that. It's so dense. Anyway, where were we? So Wollerton Old Hall. Gorgeous buds. Just look at this again. I think that looks absolutely neat as a button. It's perfect. It gives me sort of Jude the Obscure vibes, even though I don't own that rose, and I can't wait until I do. I think it's got a similar sort of look. Different fragrance though. This is a myrrh fragrance, whereas I think Jude's more fruity. So yeah, once we get those romping on and we get the climbers up and those gentle Hermane around there, that'll change the dynamic of this centre. I'll just take you one round. Sorry about the wind if it's messing with the sound quality. take you on through to see this side. So this is my Bring Me Sunshine, which is covered in blooms at the moment. And we've got these absolutely ginormous canes that have come up. See 1, 2 and 3 covered in blooms on the end. And that's all still part of the first flush. I'd say she's been in bloom now for at least a couple of weeks. Haven't done a review on this one yet. I need to really, before she goes over. But she's paired with Wazowski, a gorgeous purple flowering Clematis, which I think you'll agree with me looks beautiful with those blooms. And that's done really well this year, that Clematis. Again, just need to keep it deadheaded. I like the seed heads on these, but once they go to seed, they'll stop flowering. So always best to just keep cutting them back. And the companion planting again is very similar in this bed. Look at the size of these foxgloves. They're about 6 foot each one of them. Beautiful. Just appreciate the number of blooms to come just off of these 2 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. There's 28 blooms just in that section. That is bloody nuts. I like the lamb's ear as well in that section. Quite a lot of different things going on there. I love it. As we come through here, we've got Bosco Bell with another purple flowering Clematis, slightly different to the one that we've just seen. I can't remember the name of this one. Bosco Bell's beautiful though, setting off lovely with that rose campion. Look at the coloration of this Clematis. Isn't that beautiful? It just pulls out the deepest tone on Bosco Bell. You can see deep down in there, it's very similar, and that's why I've paired them together. Although we've had quite a few blooms on this already, it's still got absolutely loads of flower buds coming out and they're still going. So hopefully I'll keep that one in flower. Lupins, which I've knocked back, hopefully they'll flower again for me. They should do. You notice a little fox and cub just down there in that little gap saying hi, it's me. This is Elizabeth, David Austin, paired with Prince Charles. I don't even know where to start with this one. Where Elizabeth starts and Prince Charles ends, it's just gone nuts. The ring structure is somewhere in there. It's quite a healthy rose, but we've just got bloom clusters waiting to come out everywhere. And then we had these giant sprigs that came out from Elizabeth, and Prince Charles is just, you know, happy to compete and continue to go up. That's going to be in flower soon. Look at all these flower buds on Prince Charles. They're everywhere on this shrub. They just go all the way up. So, you know, eventually when all this comes into bloom, and with what's already there, I think it's going to look amazing, because Prince Charles is a sort of lilac, light purple flower, beautiful. That Clematis is going all the way down here, it's going all the way over there, and it's also going all the way sort of down there. It's spreading its arms out, but it's smothered Elizabeth completely. Doesn't seem to be affecting the health of the rose, so I'm not too concerned. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like when they're in full bloom together. So stay tuned. I'll do a rose review on her when he's out with her. So I think it'll be a more interesting review. Hopefully a bit of sunshine as well for that, because I think it'll help it to pop. If you look, we've got quite a bit of wind, but you know, the beds, they don't move much because everything works in unison to hold together. I've got no supports in any of this apart from the roses. There's literally not a stick or a stake in any of it. I put a bit of rabbit protection at the front of the roses when they were sending up basil canes in the spring, but other than that, there's nothing. Last year I had netting 2 layers if you look at my old videos, and it was great. But I found like the lupins, the leaves, as they were coming up, they were getting trapped underneath, so periodically I had to free them and push them through. So I thought this year I'm going to try it without. And yeah, everything, the alliums, all of it, it's just supported itself. The rose campion as well, another good thing about that is it's like a lattice work of strong structures, so anything that you grow near that will tend to stay in place. Got some more of those fox and cubs. So pretty. And then we've got Harlow Carr, which was a tiny little stick when I first got it out of a bargain bucket from the, remember my partner's gran bought, was it? And it was literally just a stick, but that is covered in blooms, just waiting to pop open, so that'll look great in due course. If you look at the back there, that's Shallot de Filagant, not a David Austin rose, I think it's turbot. That is getting ready to pop. It's covered, absolutely covered in blooms. Just look how many are on that. And I've trained that this year and last year up and over this post. We'll have a look at it from the other side in a minute. But yeah, that is going to be covered. And then underneath, I think this is the Shepherdess, another gorgeous rose from David Austin. Not one that you often see talked about, but it's beautiful. Oh, it's got a wonderful fruity fragrance, very strong. I'll review that one when there's a few more blooms out. I only planted these last year. There's 4 roses at the bottom of this room, one here, one there, and 2 on the other side. They were the last to go in. And that one there is Port Sunlight, if you're interested. Quite nice blooms, very orange centre, opening 2 rosettes with a sort of slight button eye in the middle. Very different to some of the other David Austins available. It's a beautiful rose. Hope to review that in due course. We've got the alpaca paddock in the back. Might go and see those girls after. Oh, this is a really interesting point. If you're still here tagging along with me, that's Claire Austin, and she's just opening up. Look at these blooms. This shrub, by the way, is probably about 6 years old. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And she's got a delicious myrrh fragrance. We've got another bloom here that's coming out, opening a bit more. Lovely deep cup and high petal count. But if you look at this one, can you see the growth habit of her? Even though I've got the rings, she's kind of gone like a bad hair day. She's sending long arching canes everywhere because really she needs something to climb up. With her being a short climber, she'll grow to about 10 foot. So this year I plan to put more willow hoops, but I've just not had time to make more. So I made these temporary structures. If you just look through here, hang on a second. You see that? Just fixed it to the post at the back, and it now means that I will be able to tie these canes in a bit more. Ideally I should have done that earlier, because if you look, those blooms are pointing up, but when I pull this up they're kind of pointing to the other side of the rose room. What I have noticed is that they will straighten up. A lot of them are already pointing up, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We've got a Clematis just coming out here. I think that might be Romantica. It's going all the way up there by that willow tree. So that's one that I haven't tied up as the other Claire Austin at the other side. They don't look horrendous, but under the weight of those blooms and with wind and rain they could snap off. So I need to get on with that this week. If you look at the rose next door, this is Bathsheba. And as you can see, I've tied Bathsheba in. You can see the strings. So that's to the willow rings and to the new wooden structure. And that rose is going nowhere. It's absolutely covered in blooms. There's just, I wouldn't even like to guess, there's probably way over 200 blooms just ready and waiting to come out. You'll have to wait until I do my Bathsheba rose review to see this in full action, because it is a sight to admire. It's beautiful. I mean, each one of these clusters has probably got 5 or 6 blooms on each one. There's just loads. Beautiful. This is probably one of my favourite roses in the garden. It's the first one I think I fell in love with, and it's beautiful. Look at these lupins down here. It looks like, just reminds me of a colourful city of skyscrapers. Must be so nice being an insect like a bee, hovering your way through all of this. Got the Astrantia down there. It's just so colourful, and every single one of these is a pit stop for them. Just collect that all important nectar and the pollen. I love these Astrantias. Look at the detailing on these. These are just starting to go over now in terms of the flowers. The bracts will stay like this. They don't have the nicest smell, I've got to be honest. Astrantia is not a smell that I would say is attractive. It smells a bit funky, to be honest, but they're beautiful, and they're not very strong. You can only smell them when you get right next to them. But I think they're so pretty, and the flowers like this, they last months, and they look nice even when they're dry. Purple in that lupin is just sending my brain into overdrive. Beautifuls. Right, let's just try and stand up carefully. More of the rose campion coming. This is another Claire Austin, but you can see by comparison, she's tied in. Can you see the difference between bad hair day, good hair day? And her blooms, when I tied her in, they were a bit sort of pointing inwards or pointing out because they'd grown, the canes had flopped, the blooms had gone up. I pulled them in, the blooms were then facing that way, but you can see they've straightened right back out. Not all of them. Some of them are still a little bit on the wonk like that, but that's not horrendous. But the majority of them have righted themselves back towards the light. It just means that when she's in bloom and the blooms are really heavy, especially when there's so many of them, she's loaded. They'll all be in one place and they'll just be there to admire. They won't look messy. Can't do with messy roses. And often, I remember when I first started growing roses, as beautiful as they are, they're beautiful until they're in full bloom, and then they're all over the place and you've got petals falling everywhere, and it gets to a point where you think, gosh, it was gorgeous when it started, but it now looks a bit of a mess. When you do this and you organise them, you can just keep on top of them then, you see, and they look great the whole time, in my opinion. It's really easy to do second flush prunes because you just cut, and if necessary, cut the string and retie it if it needs it. Or don't tie it in, let the new shoot come up, tie that one in. It just makes life so much easier. This is that scabiosa that I said had come back. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Plum pudding. I love them when they're unopened. They remind me of a raspberry. Again, just appreciating the finer details. The hairs and the sort of structure, that looks amazing. But yeah, when they open up, it's beautiful, and that's sending loads of blooms out. So it's a lovely hit of that burgundy purple. Very similar, in fact, to the Circeomata purpurea. Very similar colour. Quite like that colour, to be honest, in any plant. If you look down here, we've got a massive hosta. I debated whether to take these out this year just to make way for more perennials, and then I thought, no, I'll just leave it. There's something different. Probably does need dividing though. I think it might be a little bit too big considering it's nearly the full width of the border, bar the lupins at the back. But the flowers on these hostas are gorgeous. Look at those. These wonderful tall spikes. It's almost got a nerine style flower to it. Really, really pretty. And I don't know if these are fragrant, I can't remember. Not really much of a fragrance, but they're pretty at all stages. They look like little water balloons, these ones, before they open. You know, the ones you used to throw about as kids. Be using the garden tap to fill them up. They start like this. You can see there's absolutely loads to come out there. Love the colour of this foliage. And it's getting a lot of shade back here from the rose, so it's liking this spot. Just got to keep an eye out on these cornflowers. Whenever I'm out just admiring the plants, I'm always just looking. It takes 2 seconds to just take them off, pop them back in the bed, and it just means that it keeps the show going for longer and longer. I mean, I'll miss the occasional few, it's not the end of the world, but just as long as I get the majority. We've got a bit of sun coming out now. It's perfect for this Bathsheba. Had quite a lot of rain recently, and if any of you are interested in what balling is, this is a really good example. So the rain comes down when the buds are tightly packed like this. It wets the outer petals, it almost sets like a glue, and so the bloom it can't then open, the inner petals can't come out. So I will probably end up cutting these off, even sometimes just giving it a slight ruffle and it'll pop open. It hasn't affected a lot of them, and this one, there's got loads to come out anyway. So yeah, some varieties like Claire, like Bathsheba, and look at the petal count on this, and this has a gorgeous fragrance. Just look at the beauty of that. That is absolutely stunning. I love the cup of Bathsheba. The other thing the rain does as well is it discolours the outer petals a little bit, which I think makes them look a bit scruffy. But this is literally just getting started, this Bathsheba. It always amazes me at this time of year when I see all these buds and I think, oh, it doesn't look like it's got that many blooms on it. And then 2-3 weeks from now, it'll be just covered. It'll be a sea of those just everywhere, which looks fabulous. And the Clematis on this one, oh, there's 2 of them, has gone berserk this year. So we've got Clematis blooms just here. You can see they're starting to open at the top. Look at those. Beautiful 2 varieties. Again, I can't remember the names of these. I do have them written down somewhere. But contrasting really well. And we've got Bathsheba as high as up there. So hopefully they'll mingle together this year, which will be lovely. But yeah, the idea was to have Clematis up these posts with the roses. I'll take you down this aisle, we'll come back up and we'll do the last quarter of this room. That one's Blue Angel Clematis, I know that much. Got a Claire spent bloom there that needs deadheading. When you've got blooms as well in clusters like this, don't cut down here because you'll sacrifice all these. Just come in and just either nip it off like that with your nail. Ideally you should get rid of rose material, and just because it can attract fungal disease. But you can see there, that's where it was, and there's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blooms left to come out there. When those are all finished, I will cut this. I'll go back to the first set of leaves and probably the second set, which would have been here, and I'll cut just above that so we get a new stem that comes up this way. More of that scabiosa there. Look how beautiful that looks against. Anybody want a jam with a scone, sorry, with jam and cream and a lump of bird shit by the looks of it? Oh, maybe not, I'll pass. Excuse my language. Anyway, those lupins are looking pretty too. You'll see this room periodically throughout my videos, because obviously when I do my Claire Austin rose reviews and my Bathshebas, I'll be back in this section and things will be again a little bit different. And I always try and show you a bit of the room each time I do a review, so we're not just focusing on one thing. Look at that with the sun. Oh my god. See the difference you get when the sun comes out? It just comes through all of those flowers like light through a stained glass window. It really does make a difference. I'm going to try and upload as many videos as I can this week with having a bit of time off. This Astrantia was incredible when it first came out. It still is, but it's totally faded. It was as red as the darkest red on this Lupin when it first came out, and this Lupin, there were loads of them in here, and together it was just like wow. I've just seen another seed that's come through here. This is Nigella. And we've had these in these beds for a number of years, and they just pop up every now and then. But again, just another little detail. More of that Nepeta, which you can see I've cut the tops off just to bush it out a bit. So that's not flowering at the minute, but it will flower in due course. Another white foxglove there. And just deadhead this Dutch iris, which has gone over. I'll bring you up. Yeah, I need to sort those Claires out. Look at the state of that. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but look at that cane. That's just asking to be snapped. And you look, you know, when they go like this, the blooms literally turn up to face the light because they want the pollinators to see them. All of them have done that. So I might even just loosely tie this in as it is at the minute, and then when it comes to deadheading after the first flush, I'll cut it back and then get it to be trained a bit more vertical. This is Mrs. N. Thompson, a gorgeous Clematis. Love the coloration of this one. It's got these lovely striped bars down which almost iridesce. It's really, really pretty. And that's working its way up there. Try and give you a view of the room from this side. Gorgeous white, pure white foxglove there. That looks angelic. Beautiful. That is pure white as well. There is no markings in that. Well, there is slightly. But that's practically pure white. Again, with that sunlight coming through. Look at all those buds on Claire Austin. Grand. These are my strawberries and cream hydrangea paniculatas. So cone-shaped hydrangeas that start off white or creamy colour, and then they start to blush a strawberry pink as they age. They're beautiful. I've got one on each side. I need to do cuttings of those because I want them in other parts of the garden eventually. Are really, really pretty. And this is a view from me leaning against the alpaca fence. You can see the other part of the garden as well and all the trees in the background. You see that rose right over there. I'm going to be doing a review video of that one and some in the bottom of the garden. That's Rambling Rector. That's about 30 foot tall. You see the white flowers on it. That's not in this room, it's right over the other side of the garden. It's beautiful. It smells amazing over there. And then this is that Gislaine, the Filigante. I mean, honestly, bloom number on this has got to be approaching the thousands. It's a repeat short rambler. I mean, each one of these clusters has probably got 30 or more blooms in them. And that's a gorgeous rose. Sort of an apricot, slight blush of pink in there. And I found in the autumn last year, this one, with the cooler temperatures, is almost completely pink with bits of peach and orange through it. Looks like a miniature Shropshire lad, which was a really nice surprise. And because it reblooms, this will bloom again. So around about September, I'll do a review video of both of these this year, because I've got one here and one just down there on that other post, just past that willow. and I'll do another review video in the autumn just to show you the difference. But this is definitely one worth having. I mean, started off as just a small shrub down here. I didn't actually plant these, the previous owner did, but it was tiny when I got here, and I've just basically fanned it out and trained it up, and the idea is to get it about halfway over there. But yeah, it's completely covered. Looks fabulous. Oh, that sunlight is beautiful. Do you know, I might have a glass of wine tonight and come out, have a seat out here. You can see this end Claire that needs tying in. She's yeah, that's completely arching out. I've got the structures in, I've put them in, I've just not got round to tying her in. You can see these paniculata hydrangeas starting to bloom. They're just starting. This is nothing. These will get massive. They're like huge ice cream cones. Just delicious. That giant that you can see there is Bathsheba. That's going to be loaded, and that's got Clematis, Hagley Hybrid and Polish Spirit attached. Just appreciating some of these blooms from Claire. Oh my god. Isn't that beautiful? I have to have a smell. That is wonderful. Keep remembering to hit the focus on this camera, otherwise you're just going to have a blurred image to look at. So last year I didn't grow these climbers in this aisle that I'm in now as tall. I grew them more as shrubs, so they were maxing out at about 5 foot. But this year I thought, stuff it, I'm going to let them go up and I'm going to tie them in. So that's exactly what I've done. As you can see, that Bathsheba has gone practically to the top, as has the Clematis. That's Hagley Hybrid. It's a beautiful Clematis. I think it goes wonderful with Bathsheba. And that's interspersed throughout this whole structure. So a couple of weeks, I'll show you what that looks like. I think you'll be impressed. This is Claire, paired with another Clematis. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of this one. There's two actually on here. There's a smaller one, which you can see just through there, and then this nice large one that started flowering about a month ago. There's a lot of seed heads up there that I'm going to have to get the ladder out and deadhead just to try and promote more flowering. But as you can see, this Claire's been tied in also. She just looks more ordered. Blooms facing up, which looks beautiful. It brings us on to our last Bathsheba, so that completes 4 in total. Again, this one's tied in already. The string's practically invisible. You know it's there if you look for it, but it's just holding everything in place. Lamb's ear down at the front just to lighten up the base. And then of course we've got Bathsheba starting to come out there. It's just such a pretty rose. I love it at all stages. Got all the petals in there. Such a high petal count and a gorgeous, gorgeous colour. I do love this rose. It's got Princess Diana on this side, and I think Romantica is the Clematis. I mean, my God, that Romantica is getting ready to pop some serious colour into this structure. Some more lupins there, which will be ready to reflower. Claire Austin here, who's covered in blooms, just waiting to pop open. That's the new structure that I put in this year, which it needed, to be honest, because even with 3 rings in there, she was just getting too tall. And when I had her last year at about 5 foot, that was perfect. But as you know, last year was a write-off anyway because it did nothing but rain, so it wasn't the best year for roses. But this year has been fabulous for all plants and fruiting trees. I think the heat in the spring and the dry weather has just got everything flowering en masse. Look at this bathsheba, guys. I mean, we're not even tip of the iceberg. That is going to be flowering all the way up there in due course. You can see Claire from this side. Wonky. Still looks beautiful. Claire's better grown in my opinion up her obelisk or against a fence, I guess. You can grow her through these rings, but you've just got to get your timings right and get her in, otherwise you end up with canes that literally drop right down. And she's sort of mingling with the hardy geraniums, so we've got a cluster of blooms there. It looks like it's coming from down there, but really it's coming from that stem, which is fine. It's okay if you want to just let it go wild. It's just that the canes sometimes they'll snap and then you lose everything. And look at this one. How many blooms are on just this one stem? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 blooms just on that stem. And mind, when they get really big, that stem's just going to go down, 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 and it could end up snapping. That's another Romantica Clematis, which I've paired with my Wild Eve. This one is one of the baby ones, but beautiful. Again, not one that I see mentioned very often. It's a really pretty rose. It's got a nice fruity fragrance as well. Yummy, nice glossy green foliage. I had to cut back some of my geraniums here because they were just encroaching too much into this rose and swamping it out. As I said, this is only been in the ground a year, this one, so it just take a bit more time. And we've got Nye Bevan down there again, just a baby. And then we've got Ghislaine de Filigonde up there, looking spectacular, just like the other one on the other side. And these really are big sprays of blooms, just waiting to open. We've got Clematis intermingled in there as well. That is just gorgeous. Down here we've got Olivia, which has gone over. I've deadheaded that already. She's a very early one to flower, so I've just knocked her back in preparation for a second flush. More lupins. Just spotted Dutch Iris, Eye of the Tiger down there, look. Beautiful. More fox and cubs. And rose campion, which is yet to open on this side. And then we've got the Poet's Wife, which I'm going to be doing a review of this week. Gorgeous, strong fragrance, beautiful blooms. Look at these. It's loaded. Absolutely loaded. And then look at these mad canes at the back, all the way up there. They're as tall as me, they're 6 foot. This rose is not meant to grow this big, but as you know, a lot of the Austins do. And they're loaded with blooms at the top. It's just incredible. Look at the size of that. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. I honestly think that is just wonderful. I can't wait to review this rose properly for you and for the channel. If we come on through, we've got the Ancient Mariner Rose right here. This one's put on loads of growth last year and the start of this year. Again, I'm going to be doing a rose review of this one in due course. It's a beautiful rose. Again, not one that you hear about very often, but it is stunning. And the blooms this year have been medium size again because of the weather, but normally they are ginormous, really heavily cupped, and they've got a wonderful strong fragrance. Oh, it's very fruity, it's beautiful. So that's the ancient mariner. Just bring you past these lupins. Got a gorgeous foxglove there with almost bronze leaves. It's gorgeous. And then another one of my favourites, this is Summer Song. Last but not least in this room, again we've got some lovely strong canes on this. It grows a little bit like Golden Celebration, so it can be a bit floppy, hence I've got the support structures. But the blooms and the coloration of this is just like nothing else that David Austin's produced. The fragrance alone is, oh, it's the most tropical scent. I get passion fruit, pineapple, oranges, apples, pears, everything. It's just a whole fruit bowl for me. It's really, really pretty. And this is on its first flush. Apparently it doesn't do very well in super hot climates, I've read and seen reviews. But hopefully I'll do a review of this rose this week for you as well in a bit more detail. But you can see she's got loads more blooms to come, so we've got time. This is what they're like when they first open, and then they sort of, look at that. What is not to like about this rose? Maybe the fact that the blooms droop slightly. Not all of them, but you can see that they do nod a bit like Golden Celebration. But I guess if I spent the time, I could tie those in, and I could certainly have them looking more upright, you know, just a simple little trick. Like for example with this bloom, if I can do it. Sometimes even just repositioning them within the foliage does make a difference. See, that just looks a little bit better just there. It's so pretty. Look, more of the fox and cubs. Got all these beetles, pollen beetles. They're almost ubiquitous throughout the garden. You see them on everything. I hope I've convinced you all to get these fox and cubs and grow them in your beds. They're so pretty. I was speaking to my dad a few weeks back, and I'm pretty sure he was talking about these growing in the lawn, and he was saying how he doesn't like them. But I was just thinking, how can you not like these? What is not to like? Maybe in the lawn, fair enough, if you're the type of person that goes for a pristine lawn, which is not me. As you can see, I've got the buttercups, I've got the clover for the bumblebees. I don't want just a patch of grass. I like it to be a patchwork of a bit of everything. But you think this is only 2 years, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, a bit like the Bathshebas and the Claire Austins. All of these will have bushed right out. You'll barely be able to see the posts, and it'll be coral pink, ancient mariner, sort of soft pink, then the yellows, then the Olivia, my Bevan, Wild Eve. It'd just be a lovely, it already looks amazing now in my opinion, but I think once they fill out even more, it'll only get better. I want all of my roses eventually to be as bushy as these. That's the goal anyway. So that completes the short tour, June 2025. If you've stuck around to the end, well done and thanks for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. As always, I will do my best to get back to your comments. It might take me a bit of time. I'm a busy GP, so I'm working through the week. This week obviously I've got off, but I do have a bit of work to do. But I will always try and get back to everybody's comments. You know, it's very appreciated when you interact with the channel and me. I really enjoy reading everything that people write, and you know, a lot of you are teaching me new things as well as me teaching others. So it's just a really nice experience. So thank you for all of those that have commented, that have liked the videos, and that have shared the videos even, and subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate it. On that note, I do have a lot of my own roses that I've propagated in the kitchen garden, which is over in that direction. You'll know from my other videos. And I've been having some thoughts recently that, you know, it'd be nice to give back to people that are interacting with the channel and that are subscribing. So I'm thinking over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to try and do some videos. I'll try and make them interactive of some giveaways. I'm not selling anything for legal reasons, but you know, I've got some beautiful roses over there and I've probably got too many for me. So it'd be nice to do something whereby I can give back to people that are interacting with the channel. So just keep an eye out for those videos. There'll be short videos just sort of basically going through what I'm giving away and how you can sort of get an opportunity to win it, I guess. So stay tuned for that, but I'll leave this video here. Or shall we go and see the alpacas? Do you want to see the alpacas? If you don't want to see the alpacas, you can stop watching now. But if you do want to see them, then just hang fire. I'll go and show you the 3 girls in the barn. And actually, we'll have a look at the rose room from inside paddock number 2, because that's another nice view. Let's take you on through. So this is our tree garden. These are those willow pears that I looked at earlier. Cherry tree. And if you remember from my other videos, that there is Buff Beauty. Just bring you on through and we'll go and have a look at the alpacas. I'm going to try to do more videos with these in as well. I won't add them to my David Austin videos, but I'll put them on the channel still, because a lot of people have said please do more videos of the alpacas, and they are having babies in about 5 or 6 weeks, so I think it'd be really nice for you guys to be part of the journey as well. If I just come on through here, they're in the barn. I'm having a bit of a relaxing time. So this is paddock number 2. Paddock number 1 is just up there. We've got a gorgeous honey locust tree on the side of the barn. I'll show you the alpacas in a second. Let's just have a little look at the rose room from this side. It's nice because you get to see the alpacas when you're sat in there, but it just gives you an idea of the size of the room. It's quite large. I just think it looks beautiful. And the benches as well now down the bottom, they just add an extra quality. You look down there, don't that look beautiful? You see the bench at the very bottom. So this is this side. I'll show you paddock number 3, which is in progress. We've just put down a load of seeds. So this was a bit of a forest garden down here. There were hedges, loads of shrubs. You couldn't actually see any of this. There were just the trees dotted in between it all, but we've moved a lot of stuff and opened it up. And as you can see now, we've put down a load of seed. So we're just waiting for that to take before we open it up to the alpacas. But yeah, this is paddock number 3. So they're gonna have this entire section. It goes down to the fence at the end and then goes down there. It just means they've got more space. I am doing a video later this week, so I'll give you a sneak preview. You see the owl box on the tree? That's a peri-pear tree. And up that peri-pear tree, we've got Paul's Himalayan musk and a rose, a rambling rose called Wedding Day, just starting to come out. That tree's got to be 50 foot or more, you can see. And it also goes all the way over the back bottom part of the garden. Don't know if you can see just in the distance, all of that, all of it is roses all the way along the back of the garden. So I'm going to be showing you that when I show you the rambling rector, which coincidentally is at the end of this aisle where I put a load of cherry trees. The rambling rector is right down at the end of that. I'll show you another video reviewing that rose, because it's a spectacular rose if you've got space to grow it. Just come under this willow and we'll just have a look at the other side of the rose room from here. and then we'll go say hi to the girls. I think I've already introduced them on the channel, but I don't think I've been in the paddock at the time. So yeah, this is the other side. Got a little bird feeder there that I put some grass in just to see if they'd take it for nesting, and they did. They took quite a bit. You see the bench at the bottom? I love the curve of the bench. It just adds to the room, I think, and gives you a lovely view from all the way at the other side. Right, let's go and see these girls. I can see we've got Daisy there, who's eating a bit of hay on the floor. If you're wondering what this is, we didn't have a meteor that hit the ground. It does look like a meteor came down from the sky. It's actually called a midden, and it's where they wee and poo. And they all go in the same spot. They started there and then it sort of grew up that way. And when they finish with this one, they'll start another one somewhere else, and then this will recover. So although it looks a bit unsightly, it's not the end of the world. And there, the alpaca poo, as I've said in my videos, is something I'm starting to put on all of my plants. This stuff right here is gardening gold. They poo like rabbits. It's like rabbit droppings, slightly larger, but it's a cold manure, meaning that you can put it straight onto your beds. There's no need to let it sit for any amount of time. It's got a lower nitrogen content, so it doesn't burn the plant's roots or cause excessive growth. Hiya, Daisy. So this is Daisy. She's the one eating, and she's having a baby in August. And then we got Fern, or I call her Fernie, and she's the baby of Chicory. Chicory had her last year, so she's coming up to a year old. Chicory's due her second baby, and she's having her in about 5 weeks, so in July. So Chicory going to be second baby of hers, and then Daisy, it'll be her first baby. But they are absolutely adorable. They're such a good thing to have. Hello, darling. Shall we say hi? Hello, Fernie. Hello, my darling. Hello, princess. And they've really taken to us now. They seem quite relaxed. They don't mind having a little neck rub. She actually quite likes it, bless her. She's getting really confident, this Fern. You're becoming Daddy's favourite, aren't you? You are. I think I'm giving her a little bit more attention because the other two are pregnant. They're a little bit hormonal at times, and they'll sort of spit at her to tell her to leave them alone. And obviously she's just a baby. She likes running around. She just wants some attention. So I'm hoping when they have their babies, she'll have 2 new playmates, and I think she'll really appreciate that. Chicory is looking quite swollen at the moment. If you look very carefully at her back end, sometimes you can see the baby kicking. Don't know if you'll get it on this angle. But yeah, they carry for 11 months, would you believe it? As if 9 months isn't a long enough gestation for a human. 11 months. And they can delay the birth of what is known as the cria, which is a baby alpaca, for several months if the conditions are not favourable for a new baby. So it could be an even longer gestation, isn't that right, Daisy? I think you're going to have your baby in 11 months here, though, because you've hit the jackpot with us. This is like the Ritz for alpaca, isn't it? Look at little Fernie. She's so cute. Look at those big eyes and those eyelashes. Aren't you a cutie? You are. You're such a good girl. You really are such a good girl, darling. You enjoy having a scratchy, is that nice? It is, isn't it? So I'll typically come out here in the morning before work. I get up nice and early with these lighter mornings, and I'll give these girls their feed. So they have hay, and they also eat grass out in the paddocks, and they do a really good job of keeping the grass down. And then because they originate from the Andes, they need salt in their diet. It's a special type of salt. So we give them a supplement every morning, which is called Camellibra, the brand. It's just got all the essential bits that they won't get out of the grass and the hay. So they get a measured amount of that every day, and they really enjoy it. Often when I open that door there to go in and weigh out and prepare their stuff, they're in there with me. It's not a big room, as you can see, with a partition, but they know what's happening, and they'll come in, bless them, and they'll come and see me and see what I'm doing. And as soon as I come out with the food, especially Chicory at the back, she's very greedy, but she'll come and she'll sort of follow me wherever I go to have the food. So those are the alpacas. I try and do more update videos, even if it's just YouTube shorts, just showing you me feeding them, and just generally what we tend to do during the day. Coffee, glass of wine at night for me, obviously not for them. But I think you'll agree, they're absolutely beautiful. Such a blessing to have. I'm surprised how we managed to fit everything in with work, with the chickens at the other side of the garden, these guys, the garden being the size that it is, and the roses. But somehow we just make it all work, and we manage to enjoy it. It's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So I will end the video here. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next videos, particularly the rose review videos. There's a lot more to come. All right guys, take care. Thanks again. Bye bye.